Hey, it's Joe Lyons, and I was working through these mini tutorial GUI tutorials from Hellbent, and I'll put a link in my video here. But I realized I was getting confused on how things worked with GUIs and radio buttons, and what I realized was a helpful tool for this was the debugging tool. So first, let me just go ahead and I'm going to launch the script. So here you can see when you work through the script, it's built to say as you click the button, update the color of the GUI. In the actual script itself, though, what I was getting confused at, as you know, the script runs through initially here, shows it and displays it to the default color is white, which has been set here, but it would have been there anyway because that's the default color. But what I couldn't quite understand was the logic of how is it checking, how do GUIs work as far as when things get updated and stuff, and how they check and when they jump into this the go-to down to this go-to radio label, which is in each one of these, and it takes the variable associated to it and does some logic. So what I realized I could do, let me exit out of the script, is I can use the debugging to help show where I am in the script. And so when I start this here, so I just started the debug. You know what, let me also, how do I do that here? Active window, oh, that is not the right button. Here we go, variable list. I don't know if I want the call stack, but we'll put that over here in the variable list. And this will help us see what, so right now, global is true is 1. This is the level for these, but it hasn't worked through it yet. So as we go through it, it will assign the variables their values. And notice it's iterating through, it's going through. Now we've got to here, it submitted it. Now, we hit this first return. As I keep hitting the next button, it just sits here, right? So I can click that all day, but it's kind of like having a hotkey. There's no action. It's waiting for an action to take place. And notice here, so rad1 is set to 1, right? And that's, I think, because I had this checked, because it hasn't been down here yet. Now when I check this, watch what happens. So it jumps into, I think it actually, you know, executed this up here and then jumped into this go-to subroutine. And then when I go through here, you'll see it still hasn't changed. Right now it's evaluating the value of what was sent. And because I changed it to aqua, now here notice it still hasn't updated the color, but the second it's going to say now, it's actually in here because rad2 was 1, it is going to update that, and then because this is a if and else if, it doesn't continue to evaluate because the second it hits that, it'll jump down to the end. And then it just sits there, right? And I can keep hitting next, next, next until I hit a different color. And notice it jumps right into this. I think I see it kind of blink up here. I probably should be looking up here. That's probably what this would have been helpful for. And it jumps into the radio label subroutine. And of course it doesn't update it until it hits the color I chose, and here we go, and then jumps to the end. Now let's see, now I'm okay, so I should have been paying attention. So right now I'm not oh, there we go. But the second I click this, it did start from the GUI thread, right, which is up in here, and then jump down to the radio sublevel. And that's how I can tell. Is I think, yeah, it did jump up here, evaluate it, use the go-to from this one, and pop back down in there. And as we go through, it waits to get the last one. It's done, jumps to the end, and that's it. But that helps explain to me when the GUIs work. The problem I have with GUIs are they're not necessarily linear, right? It's the flow control is very different, and each of these things are basically like a hotkey, and they will trigger the action in the go-to as they happen. It's an event. Maybe that's the right term to use for that. It's an event that is waiting to happen, and it'll then jump down to where it was going. Thanks.